Hello everyone, welcome back to RJ Talks. This week we're going to be talking about the NFC West. Continuing our little mini-series, basically going through each division in the National Football League.
Got to go with this state of division for this team. Arguably, it was the best division in football until most recently off-season moves made by the AFC. But it's still a West division, so you can't be mad. But I'm excited, Jose. Why don't we just get right into it?
For sure. Let's jump right into it. I'm Jose.
I'm Ricardo.
And welcome back to RJ Talks. All right, so the first team we're going to be talking about in this division is the San Francisco 49ers. Mm-hmm. Now, right off the bat, Ricardo, we've talked about this off mic. The 49ers are expected to be the second team in this division by our estimation, right? So why don't you go ahead and take the lead on this and tell us why we believe that?
Well, other than the Los Angeles Rams, they are the most complete team in the division. The reason I say other than the Los Angeles Rams is because of the uncertainty that we have with Trey Lance.
That's right.
He could be great. He could be bad. We don't know yet. We just got to wait and see. It kind of sucks because you got to make predictions as of right now. But we can say at the very minimum they'll be second place.
For sure.
Even if Trey Lance isn't who the San Francisco thinks he's going to be.
Well, as soon as you start mentioning Trey Lance, right, he's a bit of an enigma at this point in time because, once again, we don't know if he's going to be any good or not. Jimmy Garoppolo has already somewhat overstayed his welcome with that team. He has not been as effective on the offensive side of the football as other people anticipated him to be, right? He did make a Super Bowl trip a few years back where the Kansas City Chiefs decided to actually stand up and come back to win that Super Bowl.
Yep, we watched that game together too.
Yeah, that was a very fun game, very interesting game to watch for sure. Now, Trey Lance is uncertain as of this moment in time, right? Yeah. But that doesn't mean that he is not. That doesn't mean that he's not surrounded by very great talent. On this side of the ball, as far as wide receivers go, you have Deebo Samuel, performed like a champ last year. Yeah. You have Brandon Ayuk.
ASU.
Sorry. That's right. Brandon Ayuk on that side of the ball. You have J1, I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. J1 Jennings and Malik Turner. So that is basically your wide receiver core.
And we'll include George Kittle there because he's basically a receiver.
Oh, he's the head of the snake for that receiving team for sure. Yeah. So from what I saw last year, he ran a lot of short routes, obviously like a tight end would, but with that Shanahan style offense, that run zone style offense, or zone run, right? Yeah. That zone run style offense, you're not going to pass the ball a whole lot. But that doesn't mean that. So what that means in the context of this team, right, is yes, you're going to be running the ball just to get short yards and maybe even big gains here and there. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that the passing game is just completely obsolete on that team.
No, right? And George Kittle, he has an amazing ability run after the catch. Because he's a big guy. He's not necessarily at Gronk's level, but he's like right below it to the point where he can just keep rolling over guys. There was a huge play against the New Orleans Saints last year. It was a fourth down play. It was 4th and 3, and Jimmy just got rid of the ball quick. And George Kittle, he caught the ball and he ran for a good 30 yards down the field to help him close out and win that game.
Oh, for sure.
Now, the reason why would we have this team as a number 2 if the quarterback is unsure? Because everything else around it is solid. O-line specifically as well. You got the Hall of Famer Trent Williams still on there at the left tackle position. Yep. Mike McGlinchey as a right tackle. He's proven to prove himself as a good offensive lineman in this league. The other guys, they're not necessarily as great, as high, as elite as the other two, but they're solid, and they have chemistry as a good offensive line.
Sure.
And then we got Kyle Juszczyk at the fullback position. He's really a Swiss Army knife kind of guy. Guy can block, guy can catch, guy can run, which makes him incredible for Shanahan's system. Now, Deebo Samuel leaving, if he does end up leaving this team, it will leave a big hole. But
there have been talks in the press
that he might want to leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he wants more money with his contract.
Exactly.
If he does, I do have faith that Shanahan will find a way to adjust. Because the reason Deebo started running the ball so much more often is because the San Francisco 49ers had trouble just a straight up running back running the ball. Whether it's a zone, stretch, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And then so you have a wide receiver in the backfield running end arounds. end around, to the people who don't know, it's when a wide receiver runs from one side of the field to the other side, and they hand him off the ball as he's running towards the other side.
It's usually prefaced with a motion, right? So the quarterback is basically just going to either tap his foot or literally look at his receiver and wave him over.
Yeah. And pretty much Kyle Shanahan, he is very, very creative with his offensive system. He makes the defense have to think, which gives them just enough time to get a play going.
It's made them a regular playoff team.
Oh yeah,
yeah, for sure,
yeah.
and not just the wild card round. I mean, last year they went to the conference championship. Yeah,
and I got to say this, Jose, if Trey Lance ends up being the top quarterback, there's playing a lot of competition for Sean McVay, because Shanahan has had Sean McVay's number even without the good quarterback. No, I'm not going to say no disrespect to Jimmy G, because he was at a Super Bowl, he had a chance to win it, he blew it.
They were ahead,
and even when they got behind, he had to make an accurate pass deep, and he missed it.
So I was on him.
He missed it. Yeah, he missed it. It was a 50-yard pass, and it was off by a bit for the receiver, and they could have won the game, but
Jimmy Garoppolo is one of those, just based off of my personal observations, Jimmy Garoppolo is definitely the quarterback to perform when it's a low stakes game, right?
Yeah.
So say like a week 5, week 6 game, right, against you know who, right? And he's able to perform under those low stakes, but as soon as you start actually progressing, he starts to crack under the pressure. Mm-hmm. That's definitely what we've seen in regards to his playing ability.
And that's part of the reason why the San Francisco traded so much of their capital, of their future, to get a quarterback in that draft with Trey Lance.
That's right.
Now, here's the problem with Trey Lance, what has me worried, Jose. He hasn't had a lot of dropbacks in his career. And
therefore he hasn't had a lot of experience.
Yes, and I'll bring this a point. I'll bring up a point to make it accurate. So Tua for the Dolphins in college with Alabama, he had around 400 dropbacks. Dropbacks meaning he passed the ball 400 times.
Right.
In his senior season. Joe Burrow, around the same thing, 400 passes in his senior season, dropbacks. Mac Jones, we just went over his stats a couple weeks ago.
Right.
He got close to 500 pass and dropbacks for his senior season. Trey Lance in his career with North Dakota State had around 150 passes
in just those 4 years.
In college, in his career.
Wow.
Not a season, in his career in college. That being, Jose, is that it's all about rhythm with these guys. It's all about muscle memory as far as when they do a 3-step drop, a 1-step drop, a 5-step drop. Because
their offensive scheme is very, very similar to Tampa Bay's, who is all about rhythm.
Yes,
we've already talked about them in depth.
Yeah, and speaking about Tampa Bay, I was going to bring up Tom Brady. One of the things that makes him great is that he's not the most athletic, but he has his momentum and rhythm down, and his technique done specifically.
Exactly.
And your technique gets better the more time you practice on it, in an experience you get in situations. Tua's not that great of a quarterback in our opinion, but he's had the experience done, and it took that amount of experience to see how he could be as an NFL quarterback.
Well, the next question, just a general inquiry here into that claim, right? Yeah. So yes, there are players that have plenty of experience, but what have they done with that experience? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, right? Yeah. He has done very well in his career in those 20 plus years. Tua has had plenty of dropbacks in his college career, yet he is still an underperforming quarterback. Mm-hmm. And then you look at somebody like Trey Lance, who has not a whole lot of experience, but then you see him last year for the 49ers, and he had a completion percentage of 57.7. He threw for 603 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 2 INTs. Mm-hmm. Ended with a passer rating of 97.3. So for a guy that hasn't had a whole lot of experience, that's not terrible.
It's not terrible. Yeah. But as far as for your starter that you want for the season, you gotta see what he looks like.
Right.
Now. Yeah. I've said this before. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I was wrong about Josh Allen. I will continue to be wrong because I am a human being. But until Trey Lance shows me otherwise, and he could very well show it to me the first 4 weeks of the season, not necessarily monster numbers, but how he passes the ball, how he looks under pressure, how he does with passes, how he does with
his technique.
His technique.
In other words,
how he moves when it's 3rd and 10 and you have a middle linebacker blitzing right up your face and you have to have no one open at the moment. Stuff like that, you know?
Just making quick, instinctual decisions in order to bring your team forward.
Yeah. And how you react with the toughest competition in front of you as well.
As we continue to say every single week, it doesn't matter how good you look against these mediocre teams, you have to perform under the best pressure, under the best competition.
Yeah, for example, nobody had faith in Justin Herbert, but his first career start, he didn't know he was starting that game. Poor Tyrod Taylor, he got his lung punctured because he got a shot into his ribs, and the trainer accidentally punctured his lung. So Justin Herbert had to get in the game, and it was against the Kansas City Chiefs when they were the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, and they only lost by 3 points. He led the Chargers to overtime. Now, there weren't like amazing stats, but you are like, this guy, he can play.
That guy can play.
Yeah.
He's good. He steps in. Once again, he didn't know that he was playing that day.
Yeah.
Right. So as soon as he started it, he said, "Well, I'm just gonna grab the bull by the horns and do the best that I can."
Now, let me take this back over to the defensive side, because we pretty much spoken on the offensive side as far as how they're looking.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they have monster talent on the wide receiver core and monster talent in George Kittle. It all comes down to the quarterback. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's another New Orleans Saints situation.
Pretty much. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing I'm excited about this defense. Nick Bosa tore his ACL last season as a defensive lineman, and he still got 15 sacks this past year. Mm-hmm. So you got Pro Bowlers with Bosa and Ford on to provide pressure. Javon Kinlaw, a D tackle. Here's what about San Francisco, Jose. They get big, tall guys on their D line. They're always like 6'5" and above.
Huge.
They're always huge guys and tall guys, and what that helps out is if those guys have some technique, it closes up the holes that you have in front of you. And that's very important to the people who don't know. When you're trying to run the ball and create separation, it's hard with those big guys who have those long arms, jamming up those old linemen and creating chaos in the middle.
Exactly.
Creating chaos whether you're trying to pass the ball or you're trying to run the ball specifically.
It also creates chaos for the quarterback because it makes it more difficult for them to even see over their offensive line. Yeah, because you don't get a whole lot of quarterbacks like, say, Davis Mills, who's just a tree. Yeah. Right? Yeah, so a lot of these quarterbacks are on average, I would say, and you can correct me.
6'3".
Exactly, like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
Right? So when you get those huge guys, those really tall guys, it makes it harder for the quarterback to even see anything above their line. Mm-hmm. Right? So it makes it harder for the running backs because all of that pressure.
There's no space for them to run.
Exactly. Yeah. So it closes up the space for them with their reach of their arms, right? And also, it's just easier for them to apply pressure because they're so big, right? And for the quarterbacks, it blocks out their line of sight. Therefore, challenges them to really concentrate and focus on what they need to do next.
And it's really, really hard when the best player on the defense is on the line, which is Nick Bosa. It's not even close. I love Fred Warner. Jimmy Ward is an outstanding safety. Charvarius Ward, one of the cornerbacks, he's good as well, but it's no doubt Nick Bosa. He's the heart and soul of that defense. He's better than his brother, and you know me, I love his brother with the Chargers, but I know that Nick Bosa is that much more talented and that incredible. They have easily, Jose, a top 10 defense. Yeah. At their worst, a top 10 defense. Yeah. That's not to worry about. That's not what I'm worried about.
So all of this combined, right? Yeah. The outstanding receiving core, the outstanding defense. Again, it's all going to come down to the quarterback, and we're very excited to see what Trey Lance is going to offer us this next year with the San Francisco 49ers.
We could either have another guy who's just okay, or we could have the next quarterback rivalry within the division
for sure,
whether it be with Stafford and Trey Lance.
Yeah,
it's going to be very, very good to watch. Do you have the schedule pulled up so we can try to go for their record?
Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and just and pull up their schedule here very quickly.
Yeah.
While I'm actually pulling that up, just a reminder, everybody, if you really like what you're hearing and you enjoy the show as it's coming to you every single week, don't hesitate to subscribe to us and follow our Instagram at rjtalks_11.
Yeah, no, we really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So with all that being said, this schedule that is up for the San Francisco 49ers, week 1, it's already against a tougher team, the Green Bay Packers, right? But I do see them beating them, even though it is a little uncertain as far as. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. That was the preseason. Excuse me. The regular season, week 1. Here we go.
I thought I had the wrong one pulled up for a second.
Oh,
Sorry,
no.
but-
Oh, no, not at all.
Chicago.
Yeah, so the regular season, week 1 against Chicago.
That's going to be win, but it's going to be a real testament. It's they can win it, but it's going to be interesting to see how Trey Lance performs on the road to start off the year. So it's going to be key eye to watch. You got to get Trey Lance and Justin Fields, 2 quarterbacks taken in the same draft class, playing against one another. Mm-hmm. Obviously, teams are not compatible at all, but it's going to be fun to see them playing.
Quick side note as well: the Bears just picked up N'Keal Harry from the New England Patriots.
They did.
Yeah, so we'll see what he does. He didn't do a whole lot with New England. He wasn't very strong in that offensive scheme. Maybe he can help rebuild this struggling Chicago Bears offense.
Yeah, maybe he could be helpful towards them.
Yeah,
I hope so. I'm rooting for the guy.
Yeah. Well, ASU alum.
Yeah.
So we got to stick with our boys. Week 2 is against Seattle.
It's all bye week. Okay, so it's gonna be a bye week.
Oh man, and this is the division that the Seattle Seahawks are in. This is a divisional game, but even then, they're going to struggle this year.
I don't care that it's at home. That San Francisco is going to blow them out by 30.
They will. They will. It's going to be terrible. Yeah. It's going to be terrible. I'm dreading, but also just kind of anticipating just the downfall of the Seattle Seahawks, because all these questionable decisions they're making, we're going to be moving on to them later on.
Yep.
We're going to be talking about them later on, but let's move on in the schedule here. Week 3 is against Denver. At Denver.
That's going to be a very, very tough game.
Yes, it will.
But because it's Russell Wilson's first year with that team, I can see, and it's early in the year as well, so it's going to be some adjustments having to be made.
For sure.
I can see San Francisco stealing that game.
Yeah, it's like when Tom Brady was first starting out with Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he is the greatest quarterback ever, but even then, he's still going to have some trouble. It's a new offensive scheme for him, and everybody was just beating him to the ground. I remember that because he was struggling so much. So Russell Wilson may actually have a very good game, but he may not. We'll see. Yeah, he is elite talent. Week 4 is going to be against the Rams, another divisional game.
It's going to be their first test of the season. It's going to be Monday night as well. So
it will be at home, too.
And prime time, so we're going to see Trey Lance response under those bright lights as well.
For sure.
So I can, because it's at home, I see San Francisco taking this one. I don't know
by a small margin.
By 3 points at the most.
Yeah, a field goal.
3 points at the most.
Yeah, that's really what it's going to come down to, especially with with both of those defenses just being so elite.
Yeah.
Right. The next one is Week 5 against Carolina. I see them losing, I see them winning.
Yeah.
I see Carolina losing, and I see San Francisco winning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Week 6 is against Atlanta. Another win for them.
Yeah. They could easily be 6-0 if they beat the Rams.
They could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Week 7 is against Kansas City. This is going to be...
I see a lot that as a loss for them.
Yeah. Even though on the offensive side they did lose Tyreek Hill, right? So a lot of Patrick Mahomes' football IQ is going to be tested.
Yes, it is.
This next year. Week 8 once again is against the Rams, a more complete LA Rams team, but also against a more complete San Francisco team at SoFi.
I don't know, Jose. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking the Rams will win this one.
Me too.
Yeah, I am thinking the Rams will win this one.
Great. Not bad for your bye week to head into 6-2.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Week 9 is bye week. Week 10 is against LA, the Chargers. That's going to be a tough one.
That's hard, dude.
Yeah.
I can even it's at home and it's Sunday night. But a
lot could happen during that game.
Could happen,
Yeah.
but I feel Justin Herbert's going to pull it out. 6-3.
I think so too. Yeah. I'm rooting for the Chargers this next year. Week 11, the Arizona Cardinals.
7-3.
This is there you go. This is Mexico City.
Yeah.
That Mexico City game. Week 12 is against New Orleans. I see them winning this one.
I do too.
It is at Levi's Stadium.
Yeah.
Week 13 is Miami. Once again at home. I see them winning this one.
9-3. Yeah.
Yep. Even with Tyreek Hill on that team, it's really not going to do much because of that struggling quarterback. Tampa.
I see them losing this one.
So do I.
9-4.
As do I.
Yeah.
Week 15, Seattle. Another bye week.
Yep. 10-4.
Yep. Washington. The Commanders.
11-4.
Yep. There's that.
Yeah.
Week 17 against Vegas. The Raiders.
That'll be closer than a lot of people think it will because the Raiders are good. 12-4.
The Raiders, I feel like this next year they could very well be overlooked. because they're in such a strong division this next year. Yeah.
All we know is that only 3 teams have ever made it out of a division into the postseason. It's just going to be a question who's going to be in last place. If Kansas City struggles really badly,
Right.
or if one of the other 2 teams, Denver or Los Angeles, just doesn't live up to the hype. You know?
Yeah, because Denver especially has a ton of hype behind it.
We'll get into that division later
Yeah, for
as
sure.
far as predictions, but yeah, pretty much being that is that the Raiders are going to be overlooked. It's going to be a lot closer, but I still see San Fran winning this one.
Yeah,
12-4.
same here. Even at Allegiant.
Yeah.
Week 18 against the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals might pull out a win on this one. That's not to say they're
I'll give them a
bad.
split. Yeah, 12-5. Yeah.
It's not that Arizona's a bad team, right? They're just very unpredictable.
Arizona's going to be desperate to try to win a game that's meaningless. So, and it's at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So they're going to win this one, and I can see San Fran resting some of their starters.
They're like, all right, guys, this is it. This is the last one. We're going to go and
We're going to be 8-9. Yeah.
Now we're hyped up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's not a bad look for the 49ers this
No,
next
not
year.
at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And it's very realistic for them to see, specifically if they just perform. If they don't, I'm gonna knock on wood here. If they don't have as many injuries as they did a couple of years ago.
No, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, with all that, let's go ahead and move on to our team, the Arizona Cardinals.
stand by.
Yeah. We've had a segment about them weeks ago at the very beginning of this podcast, but here we are again talking about the Arizona Cardinals, Richard,
Yep.
Ricardo's team here. So I know you have a lot to say about this team, so Ricardo, why don't you just take it away? This is your team, man.
Yeah, it is my team, unfortunately. So pretty much we're stuck at a crossroads not because of talent. They have lost some talent in the offseason. They lost Chandler Jones. That really hurt me. I was really hoping they would keep him. Salary caps are there for a reason. But it comes down to, and I'm not going to get too much into this. If you guys want to see my full thoughts on it, watch the other episode that I went into further detail. But it's going to come down to my prima donna that I have at quarterback. And just what he's shown me this past offseason and how he's performed in this second half of seasons. I have zero faith that this team's going to live up to expectations, that they should, based on the talent that they have around it, or based on that they have records early on and how they're killing people. And a very questionable move, specifically with the addition of Marquise Brown. We already have a short, speedy wide receiver. He's actually better than him, in my opinion, and Rondell Moore.
Yep.
It's just a matter of him getting the ball thrown to him. I feel like that was just a little kiss-up move to Kyler Murray to get his former college teammate.
The smallest team in the NFL. This just might be the smallest team in the NFL.
Let's get the shortest wide receivers to win games. That's how you win in the NFL, Jose.
Right.
You need short guys. That's why it's known in the NFL, tall guys don't make it. It's those short 5'10" guys that really become
those fiery, feisty, short guys.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, since we're on the topic of the receiving corps,
Yes, go right ahead.
We have DeAndre Hopkins. However, he is suspended for 7 games for alleged steroid use.
Yep.
Right. Now, those 7 games are going to be very tough without him because we already know that Kyler Murray's prime target is that man there.
And he's a different quarterback without that man.
That's right.
And that man is my favorite player on this team. You know this, Jose. He's the new Cardinals jersey that I have. You know me. We're like, why don't you get Kyler? I'm like, I love D-Hop.
Yeah.
D-Hop is my guy.
For sure.
So with him gone, it's going to really... I'm excited, though, because it's going to force Cliff Kingsbury to actually coach for once, as opposed to try to, let's just throw it to D-Hop, have Kyler run around for a little bit, and then every once in a while just hand it off to James Conner. No. You got to have use strategy and use players and schemes to the best of their abilities, specifically when you keep getting short freaking guys to play for you. So...
Yeah, have him lost for 7 weeks. We have Marquise Brown, right? Their new pickup, Marquise Hollywood Brown, that they picked up from Baltimore. right? Short guy. Rondell Moore, another short guy.
Yeah.
And then you have a pretty washed AJ Green.
Cat-like reflexes, AJ Green, as we saw last year.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't really perform to the expectations that we had for him. Right.
Yeah.
It seems like we decided to trade for these big name players in order to actually bring hype back to the organization. But the only one that has really shown us any kind of promise or any kind of real respect, right, is DeAndre Hopkins. And that's not to say that J.J. Watt is a bad player still. He's still a good player. He just hasn't been as prominent as he was with Houston.
Absolutely. And another player that I'm not going to disrespect here, but it's because I don't have faith that Kingsbury's going to get him involved. Because he has no idea how to coach, from what I can see, is Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz, Pro Bowl, one of the Pro Bowl tight ends, one of the better tight ends in this league. The reason I don't bring him up as a weapon is because with D-Hop gone, I would just double him and let those receivers try to beat me one-on-one.
Right.
Same thing that they're going to do with Kansas City as a fact. Double Travis Kelce and let those receivers beat you one-on-one.
For sure.
No fear.
Yeah.
Now, they did... I'm not excited, dude. They added a guard from the Giants. The Giants, who's known to have a fantastic O-line, no problems whatsoever. The guard, Will Hernandez.
They have no problem with defending their quarterback.
Yes, none whatsoever. So when you get it's because he's a big offensive lineman. I don't know. Right guard has always been a weakness, so we're going to get Will Hernandez to block Aaron Donald, Nick Bosa. Lovely, twice a year. It's incredible to watch, Jose. But this offensive, so this is how I see it going, Jose, without going into the record.
Sure.
If they're lucky, a respectable offense starting off the season and then just fizzling out to the pathetic, horrible babies, washed up, scared players that they were at the end of the season. It was just awful. That playoff game is one of the worst Cardinals games I've seen in my life. It's even worse than when they lost 56-0 to Seattle at Seattle. The only reason this was worse is because it was on national television, Jose. It was the only game on, and everybody was watching this, and I'm just like, my God. It's awful. It's awful, and it's hurtful too because they have talent.
Yeah, they do. That's why. But they have no idea how to use it.
Yeah.
They have no idea how to use it. Oh my! It's like I was just saying right now. It's like they trade for these huge blockbuster names, right?
Yeah.
But then they don't do a single damn thing with them.
Now, the captain of the defense for next year, J.J. Watt, he's going to be reliable. He's always excellent in run support.
Oh,
he's
sure.
going to stay good in run support.
Yeah.
But he's not the same J.J. Watt with pass rush, which he's old. He's had, well, not old, but he's past his prime and he's had surgery, so I don't expect him to be that. I never did. I was just surprised he was as great as he was with run support. Then you got Rashard Lawrence, who's decent guy, good guy up front. Zach Allen, he's a regular good guy. Dennis Gardeck, he's as one of the outside linebackers. I love him because he started off as special teams and he's gotten a pressure, but he's not consistent. That's the thing. The guy shows promise, but he's not that consistent.
Oh yeah.
We have the worst linebacking core between those two with Zaven Collins and Isaiah Simmons. It's just,
and yet we still continue to just draft linebackers
outside. Yeah. Let's get an outside linebacker, not to solve all the problems, Jose. Like, my goodness, drafting linebackers and we can't draft a good one.
And we can't even draft a good offensive lineman either.
Don't get me started on that, dude. I could rap for hours with offensive linemen with this team. But Isaiah Simmons and Zaven Collins, they're like, oh yeah, these are prototypical big linebackers, quick and whatnot. When they play in the game, dude, it looks like they have no idea what they're doing. They're like looking around, trying to see what they want to do.
It's like they have their feet in molasses.
Yeah, it's like they're different players when they actually play in the game. Marcus Golden, he's always been reliable, and I love him. He's going to be the main pass rusher on this team.
Oh, yeah.
Byron Murphy Jr., he plays good. He has potential to be a great corner, but he's a solid, good corner. He's the best corner that we have on the team. Jalen Thompson, both of the Thompson corners, actually, they're both inconsistent as far as staying in front of guys. We'll see how they do. Buddha, great. Can't have any complaints about him, but he can only do so much. Marco Wilson, the other corner, he's okay.
Yeah.
We just got to see what he does.
Yeah.
I just listed pretty much all the names off the defense to say around 15. I see them being not too elite, not too bad,
right?
On that end.
Yeah, they'll still be in the top 15.
Yeah, top 15. Yeah, around there. They might be able to move down. They might not be as good. So, I could see it going either way, but I don't see them being that much worse.
No.
All this to say, it's gonna be a awful year, but I'm ready for it, Jose. I'm ready with my eyes and expectations open, which I am most year, and I will not fall into the trap that I fell into last year when they were like, oh, they look like a playoff team. They could be a contender if they beat good teams.
Well, here's the thing with you last year is that you started off the season and you were still a little pessimistic of their success, right? And I was too. But even then, I was still watching them. I'm like, wow, they could really do something this year. And then you said, just wait until after Thanksgiving. If they do something after Thanksgiving, then bravo to them. All right, well, we'll keep this train going. And what happened shortly after Thanksgiving? Just the nosedive down. They lost what was it? 5 straight games.
They lost to the Lions.
Yeah. A struggling Lions team.
Yeah.
Right? So, man, I'm worried. I'm worried for next year.
And here's the one thing, Jose. They get off of that. You'd think a solid team with some faith in themselves would be like, you know what? We'll dust ourselves off. We'll try harder again next year. We got this, guys. We can do this. We just got to finish.
Yeah.
No, they completely fall apart in the offseason. It's Kyler Murray wants to leave. Chandler Jones gets out of here. Coaches doesn't know what he's doing.
They've had plenty of headlines, yeah.
Plenty of awful headlines. I'm just like, you guys started 7-0 for the season, and you had this much trouble and drama.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do when you're 2-2, 3-4, 3-5, struggling?
Yeah.
It's on the verge of a collapse, which is I'm excited about because I believe we need a fresh new start. I don't trust Kyler, and I've lost respect for him, honestly, specifically what he's done after this year.
Lost respect for the head coach.
Yeah.
If you had any to begin with,
I
right?
didn't have that much.
Yeah. And that GM in kind.
If we just had a GM who didn't make such questionable decisions at times, nobody can be perfect, but if we could have less of those questionable decisions, you know what, offseason, we'll try again, something at the draft. Oh, no, we're going to get Marquise Brown for a first round. Not A.J. Brown, a big, solid, dependable receiver. No, let's get the short guy. Christ. Let's get into the schedule.
Get into the schedule, yeah, because there's going to be plenty of entertainment left.
Yeah.
Week 1 against Kansas City.
It's a loss.
Yep. At home.
At home.
But, yeah, that's going to be a loss.
They're not going to beat Kansas City.
No. Week 2 at Las Vegas.
Because it's an away game, I will give it to Las Vegas.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it to Las Vegas as well. So we're already starting off 0-2.
Yeah.
Week 3 is against the Rams. Divisional game.
I can see them going 0-3 if I'm being honest.
Yeah, 0-3 here as well. This may be their first win against Carolina in week 4.
Yeah, even if it's an away game.
Yeah, exactly. So 1-3. Week 5 against Philly.
Because it's at home, I'll take Arizona.
Yeah, so 2-3.
2-3.
Yeah, starting off the season. Week 6, Seattle.
Bye week.
Yep. So that'll be once
3-3. They'll get their record up if they're consistent and don't fall apart at the helm.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Week 7 against New Orleans. That'll be a tough defense to go up against.
Yeah. D-Hop is still going to be out until the next week, until week 8, so I'll 3-4.
3-4.
Yeah.
Week 8, we get D-Hop back against Minnesota at US Bank.
It's a toss-up, but you know what? So people don't call me too pessimistic.
Yeah.
I give it to the Cardinals against the Vikings because I can see Kirk Cousins messing it up somehow.
Yeah, we'll throw him a bone here.
So they're 4-4.
Week 9, once again, against Seattle. It's still a divisional game, though, so maybe I could give this one to Seattle. Yeah, but it is here. It is at home.
That's my thinking, too, Jose.
Yeah.
5-4.
5-4. Week 10, the LA Rams.
5-5. 5-5. They're not going to win the Rams.
Week 11, San Francisco. They aren't winning this one. We already predicted that San Francisco would win this one. Week 12 against the Chargers. At home. Yeah. I don't see them winning.
I don't see them winning. The fact that I have to say, let me be optimistic, no. I love Justin Herbert in that team.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Week 13 bye week. Week 14 is you versus me. The Arizona Cardinals versus the New England Patriots at State Farm Stadium. Haven't had a game since what, 2017?
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, 16, 17? Yeah.
I'll let you pick this one. You go first because I might pick differently.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? Now with my team, the Patriots specifically, I don't see their offense falling apart, right? They may have their struggles here and there with just as far as the receiving core goes.
Yeah.
But once again, as we've gone over time and time again, they're very good at running the ball. All right, so I see them actually penetrating that defensive line as well as the linebackers because, as we were talking about, the linebackers are just not very good. They're not very strong at all. So I see them going with their normal play action scheme and actually successfully doing that. On the defensive side of the ball, however, against the Arizona, they might be able to get it together at Week 14 with DeAndre Hopkins, as well as the rest of the receiving core, because they're really going to be. I see them really taking charge. So I would give this one to Arizona just by 3 points, really.
I agree 100% with what you just said.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah. 100%. You stole the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Because I may be mad at my team, but I have to be realistic. And as far as because it's at home too.
Yeah.
And it's late in the season, they're going to be desperate, and it's off the bye week, and they're going to have DeAndre Hopkins like in sync, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, win this game 7-6.
Yeah, 7-6, and
The
that's
record, yeah, and by barely too. I agree, barely, because New England's a good team.
Oh, okay, and also for you guys at home, I love my team. I love my team, the New England Patriots. But once again, we have to be realistic.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what we bring at RJ Talks.
Yep.
Yeah. Week 15 is at Denver. I don't see them.
They're not going to beat Denver
Nope.
at Denver.
Nope.
This late in the year, no.
Nope.
No.
Definitely not.
7-7.
Yeah. Week 16, Tampa.
Lost.
7-8. Yep.
You're not beating Tom Brady late in the year.
Nope.
Not gonna
Definitely
happen.
not. Yeah. And especially that defense if they are healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we believe that they will be.
Yeah.
All right. But we'll see. Week 17 is at Atlanta, at Mercedes-Benz.
They start off the new year with a win, just because Atlanta's that pathetic.
Atlanta is very terrible this next year.
8-8.
Week 18, the Niners lost at Levi's. Yeah, their last game of the year, the playoff team. Yeah, they aren't winning that one.
Either way, there's.
Oh well, we just gave them, we just threw them the bone in the last.
That's the only reason
Yeah.
I'm picking them to win it, because I see San Francisco not taking it seriously and Arizona being kind of desperate. So they're still barely 9-8. That's not good enough to make the playoffs.
No, it's not.
So,
It's not, yeah.
So that's a real. Honestly, that's a realistic way of how their season could go down. Not terrible, like not 5 wins, but mediocre-ish at best. Not because of the talent, but because of the leadership and how they play.
So not just mediocre, but very mediocre.
Very mediocre.
Very mediocre. Yeah. So that's our summation of the Arizona Cardinals as a whole, as well as their record. Our predictions of their record going into this next year. It's painful. It really is. It's more painful than watching a team like Detroit last year.
Yeah.
Right? Because Detroit a few times actually looked better than Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, they were still moments of that.
Here's the difference. Detroit has heart. This team has zero heart.
No, they don't.
They don't have heart
They don't.
because to finish the way that they did last year is realistic to expect this 500 record. You can't have 500 anymore because it's not an even number of
Right.
games. But to be 9-8, that's realistic because they have no heart. Talent, but no heart.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. All right. So do not go anywhere. We are moving on to the dumpster fire that is going to be the Seattle Seahawks.
We'll
this
be
next
very
year.
quickly. Yeah.
It will be a very fast segment. So
Yep.
do not go away.
All right.
Seattle. Ricardo.
The team of the year.
Yeah, in not the most ideal way. We'll definitely say that. Yeah, they'll be the stain on the NFL this next year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's not just. yes, we're biased because our home team is in this division. However, just the questionable decisions that they made this next year, and their wide receiver core, just to start off, they have Tyler Lockett, who's okay.
Yeah, he's a
At
very
best,
okay player.
Yeah, DK Metcalf, who is an athletic beast, an athletic god. But
he still needs to develop more.
Exactly.
He struggled last year because people adjusted to his style of play.
He's very mature as far as his skill goes, right? As a man, don't know that just yet. We haven't really seen a whole lot of him, but as a player, he is still very mature. He still has to refine his technique. As soon as he gets that down, he can be a very formidable offensive threat.
Could be one of the great receivers for the next several years.
For sure.
If he develops good enough, he has that capability.
For sure, Then we have Freddie Swain and D. Eskridge. Let me go ahead and just get a quick side note, Ricardo. I have not heard either one of these names. I haven't heard of either one of these names.
As soon as you said the names, I'm like, who is that? We don't know who these people are.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I've not once heard of any of these guys.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Marquise Goodwin, who's been a veteran in this league. That's a noticeable name, but I don't know why they have Freddie Swain ahead of him.
Yeah,
I guess because he's young.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous in my due to my estimation.
One of the many things in this team which we will get into.
For sure.
Ridiculous.
For sure, yeah. So the Seahawks. And then at the quarterback position, you have Drew Lock, who is slated to be the next great Denver Bronco quarterback.
Let me just say this quarterback room without even saying anything. Names. People at home, I'm sorry you won't get this, but I'm just going to be quick about it. Jose, you have a quarterback room of Drew Lock, Geno Smith, and Jacob Eason. Unbelievable quarterback room.
Unbelievable, just leadership talent.
Yeah, comparable to the Brady, Garoppolo, and Brissett quarterback room. You know, the same thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but let's get right down to it, everybody. This team is a mess. It's a mess because of the moves that they made, and pretty much it's been going this way ever since my favorite Super Bowl, Jose. Ever since Super Bowl 49.
Oh yeah.
And they lost that game at that last minute play. The great players of that team lost faith in the coach. Realistically, I would too, because you cost us a Super Bowl because you wanted to try something cute and fancy when we were this close. You were literally half a yard away. I can put my arms together to show how far away they were from being back-to-back champions. Yeah. That's how close they were, but they decided to be funny about it, which led to Richard Sherman, Brandon Browner leaving. Cam Chancellor stayed, but God bless him, he plays hard-headed, and that's why he had to retire.
Yeah.
You have Bobby Wagner, who was the heart and soul of that Seattle defense, Hall of Famer. Just cut. Not even traded. Just cut. Just cut, and then you didn't even know that he was being cut by the Seattle Seahawks. This is alleged that he heard by social media. Not even a phone call to the man who was given his prime to your organization.
Disrespect. The disrespect. If that is true. If that is true, that is inexcusable. It really is.
And all the saying is because, yes, Russell Wilson wanted out, but look at that dumpster fire around him. Besides Bobby Wagner, like, this is ridiculous. Jose. Like, it is. It's just getting to a point where Pete Carroll, I've never been a fan of his, but it's getting very bad, dude. It's getting very, very bad and very predictable vanilla offense with horrible defense. He hasn't adjusted to the schemes that's going on in 2022. He's still in his USC days of 2006 and whatnot. It's bad. There's no way around it. It's just awful.
It seems like every single one of these, the past couple of weeks in this mini-series, whenever a team is going up against Seattle, we just say it's a bye week.
Yeah.
Because they just look this bad. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, Ricardo, who do they even have on the defensive side?
Other than Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs, and not many people know Quandre Diggs, but I know him because he's a good safety. It's a whose name is this on the defensive end?
Yeah, it's a guess who.
Yeah. I don't even know. I could say the names, but not even some NFL fans would know who these names are. So I'm not even going to say most of these names. But there's only two. Yeah, it's two players that are reliable. Jamal Adams, though, he is so overpaid. Horrible move. They traded 2 first-round picks for this man.
Yeah.
Who's pretty much a box safety, a linebacker who can only cover certain amounts. There are so many clips of him getting burnt People, if you have the chance to look it up, please look up Jamal Adams burnt in coverage, and you'll see examples time after time after time again. There was a play, dude, where Matthew Stafford threw an interception because he got hit and he underthrew so much of a ball, and a regular defender would have intercepted it, but because it was Jamal Adams, it ended up being a completion for the Rams.
Oh my
God. Like, that's how bad this guy plays.
And I'll tell you this,
coverage.
I've talked to a couple of Seattle Seahawks fans myself, and they were so excited to see Jamal Adams on their team. What a letdown.
What a letdown, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this guy was so overhyped, and he just looked like he was going to be the next best, defender.
He was going to be Earl Thomas for them. Like,
he was going to be the match that starts up the new Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's disappointing, really. So I mean, once again, I'm gonna repeat what Ricardo said a few weeks ago. If you know a Seattle Seahawks fan, give them a hug, because they're gonna need it this next season.
It's gonna be awful.
It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be really, really bad, and I feel bad at this point, Jose. And, and people don't know, I'm a 12-year Cardinals fan, born and bred, diehard. And I feel bad for this team next year. that should give you some opinion as far as how bad it is.
So we are going to let's go ahead and move on to the schedule.
Yep.
Paint the picture for everybody at home.
Yeah.
Right. Week 1 is against Denver.
Denver is going to be struggling, but it's Russell Wilson Monday night
against his old ball club.
Against his own team on national television. Do you think there's a chance in hell that they'll let him struggle in that game? Denver's going to make it easy for him, some screens, and based with the defense that they're going up against, they don't have to do anything too fancy or cute.
Not really.
So so it's going to be Denver.
And Denver, they're the more complete team.
Without question.
Yeah.
Without question.
Well, not even compared to other very complete teams in the NFL, they're very solid on both sides of the ball.
The only reason I don't have them as one of the contenders in the AFC is because it's Russell Wilson's first year.
Right.
Next season, look out. It's going to be very, very tough for everybody else. All right.
For sure.
0-1.
Week 2, San Fran.
0-2 at San Fran.
Yep. Week 3, Atlanta. At home.
At home. We'll give it, because it's Atlanta.
Yeah, we'll give it to them. 1-2.
1-2.
Week 4, at Detroit.
Detroit
as well. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. What does that bring us to?
1-3.
Oh, 1-3. Yeah, that's right.
And that's me being optimistic that they beat Atlanta at home.
Yeah.
I'm only picking them because it's at home, and Atlanta's just as weak as them.
Yeah. Week 5 is at New Orleans.
Lost
2.
1-4.
Yep. Week 6 is against Arizona.
I hate my team right now, but they're not going to be this pathetic and lose to them. 1-5.
No.
Seattle.
Week 7 at the Chargers.
Blowout.
Yep.
Next 1-6.
Week 8. Ooh, they have a chance to win this one. This is New York, the Giants.
Very, very, very similar teams.
Yeah.
Let's give them the win. Let's be optimistic.
Yeah, let's give them the win.
Yeah.
So what is that? 2 wins?
Yeah, 2-6.
2 wins, 2-6. Week 9 is against Arizona.
2-7.
Yep, 2-7. Week 10 against Tampa.
2-8. Do I even have to keep going that sentence?
2-8. Going into a bye week. They're going into the bye week 2-8. Oh man, that's tough.
Yeah.
And that's us throwing them 2 bones.
They could easily be 0-10.
Yeah.
If we wanted to be mean.
Yeah.
But we're trying to be optimistic for the Seattle fans to let some games that they could win.
For sure. Yeah. Week 12 is against Vegas at home. I don't see them winning.
2-9.
Yep. 2-9. Yep. Week 13 at LA.
2-10.
Yep. The Rams. So week 14, Carolina at home. Carolina's a bit of a better team. Like by a very small margin. Yeah.
2-11.
Yeah. 2-11. Week 15, San Fran.
2-12.
Yep. Week 16.
2-13.
Yep.
Not even going to let you finish the week. It's at Kansas City.
At Kansas City. Yeah, no, not at all. Well, okay, here, maybe this one.
Maybe.
Yeah, week 17, the Jets.
If we get the same Jets that we have year after year, they could be 3-13. But if this is a Jets team that's like change and ready to be have heart and different that we're excited about based on what they had in the draft, they're gonna lose. But we haven't seen anything of that sort yet, so it's gonna be 3-13.
We're just going based off of what we've seen before.
Yes.
With the Jets, right?
3-13.
They've been terrible for a very long time.
Very long time.
Yeah. Week 18, the Rams lost.
3-14. And that's us being optimistic.
Oh man, I'm ready to cry for Seattle fans, man. I mean, I'm ready to just shed a tear or two.
You guys are going to have the number 1 pick next year, though. That's one thing to look forward to. You might be able to get a quarterback. What did I say, Jose? This year's quarterback's garbage. Next year's potential.
The next year's
potential.
They're going to
get. They have a chance to get their franchise quarterback. So pretty much, it goes without saying, Seattle's going to be that team that we're going to hear at one point. With the first pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select.
So-and-so.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll see. So that's pretty much it on the Seattle Seahawks. We were going to keep this very short, very brief, only because there's really not a whole lot to talk about that's very important or even very good.
Yeah.
Right? So the next team has all of the potential in the world.
Absolutely.
The Los Angeles Rams, the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions, do not go away.
We'll be back.
All right, the team that deserves all of the respect in the NFC.
Absolutely.
Along with Tampa Bay, of course, right? But we've already talked about them. It is now time to move on to the Los Angeles Rams, the reigning defending champs. These guys are looking a little less strong than they did last year, only because they did lose a few big players in Von Miller, right? He went over to Buffalo. Right. They also lost, but they also gained Bobby Wagner.
Yep.
So
they got a retired Andrew Whitworth Hall of Famer.
That's right. Yep.
But he was up there in age, so like maybe it is best that he retired. But it's going to be a loss because when you have a veteran and a presence as an anchor on offensive line, it's going to be hard to replace.
For sure.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, Whitworth was definitely a formidable offensive threat. Yeah. So for them to lose him is a big hit, but that doesn't mean that they can't stand up and recover because they are very, very complete.
Yep.
With that being said, their receiving core is led by none other than Cooper Kupp.
And they reloaded at that position. They let go of Robert Woods and got Allen Robinson II from Chicago. Who's going to be very, very excited for once in his life to have a good quarterback.
Hell yes. Yeah. Now Matthew Stafford, he is still improving, right? Yeah. That's not to say that he is not a good quarterback. He is very good. Very good.
Yeah.
But his problem last year was he was the quarterback who led the league in interceptions.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was very difficult for him. However, it was his first year with the Rams.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this next year we see everything going right for him, if anything. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's just being very, very optimistic. So we see a lot of things happening for Matthew Stafford, especially with the addition of Allen Robinson, with the rest of the guys, Van Jefferson and Tutu Atwell. Right, if I did say that correctly.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting because it's a team that has reloaded. They still have Cam Akers at the running back position. I pray that he stays healthy because the man is a beast. He's really, really good at running the football.
He performed very well in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah,
he was very good.
And that's just him rushing back to get back from injury. It's incredible, man.
It's going to be great to see him with all that recovery time.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Now on the defensive side, obviously you have the head of the snake over there,
Aaron Donald.
Yep.
Still in his prime.
Yeah.
Still has I would say maybe 2 prime years left.
He was talking about retiring after this last year.
Yeah.
I was actually pretty upset to hear about that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just like, come on, like you still have years left in your body.
For sure.
You have at least a good 5 years total, no matter what.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But no, head of the snake at Aaron Donald. Will we see some full stomach syndrome, like like I got my Super Bowl and I might not be as hungry to play? I doubt it though because the guy is so great, but it is a possibility after finally winning the championship.
Super Bowl fatigue. Historically speaking, we've seen the reigning Super Bowl champions coming out from that winning season and then going into the next year just not being as strong.
Yeah.
Right. But I have to be completely honest here. Mm-hmm. I don't see this happening for the Rams. I don't see them getting fatigued.
And here's my thing about it, Jose. I said the exact same thing about Tampa Bay last year.
Yeah.
And they were a little slow, but those injuries hit them hard too.
I was about to say it is a little unfair because that's not to say that they didn't perform well. It's just that a lot those injuries just really struck them.
And that's my point. And this is a big point for me, for you guys, is that it's very, very hard in the NFL to repeat for plenty of reasons. You got to re-sign everybody, which can be impossible depending on your salary cap, which in itself is complicated.
And that's already gone too because they haven't re-signed everybody.
Yeah. And you got players that that might not feel like playing, the Super Bowl fatigue.
Yep.
And then you got the worst thing that could happen to anybody, which is the injury bug, and nobody wants it, but 1 year it just picks a team and you go down. Like you're not going to do much of this season. And to be fair with Tampa Bay, it wasn't that many players, but there was 2 key players specifically that were injured and they had to come back. And it was, like we said with the game against the Rams, it was one of the first few times that they were complete as starters compared to the first week of the season.
Right.
So so with that being said, that's the only thing that's holding me back from them being back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And because you have a threat in the Southeast from the go.
Yep.
And you know he's going to be hungry.
He's going to be hungry.
He doesn't come back from retirement just to get embarrassed again by the Rams in the playoffs. They're going to be hungry to avenge that loss and try to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
And
yeah, they will.
Bobby Wagner has to be my favorite pickup for them, dude. A leader of a defense, and at a weak point in their defense as well, because you got all pro players in each level of the defense. Aaron Donald, no doubt, D-line. Bobby Wagner, the linebacker, and Jalen Ramsey in the secondary. That's a lovely, lovely defense. Lovely leaders of that defense.
Great trio, man.
Great. It's
fantastic trio.
It's going to be an incredible thing to watch, specifically how they play against other teams. But it holds back. It holds me back. It's hard for teams to repeat in the Super Bowl. For goodness sake, Kansas City, they made it to the last team to try to back. The other team that almost made it back to back, they made it to the Super Bowl, but they just got outplayed by Tampa Bay.
Yeah, they did. That Todd Bowles defense held them to the very, very end.
Yeah. And then you have Seattle Seahawks, who were half a yard away from winning, but something happened. Their coach decided to be cute. That's what ended up happening. They didn't end up making it back to back.
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers, they had all their starters coming back the year before from 2011. They just didn't perform in the playoffs. That's all it was to it. They got a 13-3 record. They got it at home, but in true Aaron Rodgers fashion, they lost in their first playoff game at home.
Yeah.
So
for sure,
that's what's holding them back. And there's always a surprise team, Jose. We've been talking about this off the mic too.
We have,
There's a surprise team every year.
And we're basing each one of our assumptions for each one of these teams off of what they did last year, right? That's not to say that, like you said, one of these every single year without fail, there's just one team that just all of a sudden just comes out of nowhere. Yeah, and they start winning games left and right. And we're sitting here just scratching our heads like, how does this happen?
Yeah.
How exactly does this happen? That was the Cardinals last year. The year before that was the Pittsburgh Steelers. All of a sudden they just came out of nowhere, right? They just kept winning games. But both of those teams took a nosedive because we started to realize what they actually were, right? But we'll see, because we have this team here. We have the Los Angeles Rams, and as hopeful as I am, right, there's still a little part of me that's just kind of like, it still kind of looks too good to be true. Yeah. So.
And that's what I'm saying. Me watching football as long as I have, there's a reason why the back-to-back teams are considered dynasties. Because it's so hard. It's a lot more common in the NBA. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a lot more commonplace for teams to go back to back.
Oh yeah.
It happens a lot. The NFL, it's very, very rare. They usually become the team of the team of the era, the team that goes back to back for the specifically for each era, for each NFL team. We went through it. 70s was the Steelers, 80s was the Niners, 90s was the Cowboys, Patriots in 2000s, and we haven't had a real dynasty team because Tom Brady once again stopped the team going back to back with the Seahawks and with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
So we'll see which team does it, but This team, I'll be good though. This team has a good chance as any to go back to back. They pretty much reloaded at their weak positions, and it's just a matter of them performing great when the time comes. And they're a contender. And so people don't get this wrong. I see them and Tampa Bay going against each other, NFC Championship.
Yeah.
I see Tampa Bay taking it, but it's just we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Definitely, we will definitely see what happens on their end. Cooper Kupp, if he continues to refine his game and he continues to improve, that man is going to be just the best wide receiver in the league, without a doubt.
He will.
Right.
He will.
Yeah, because he is so versatile, right? And that's what made Gronk so great, is that because he was so versatile, he was able to block and he was able to catch and he was able to run routes as well as he did.
I'm going to be curious to see how he reacts this year, because you know he's going to get double teamed.
Oh, you know.
Every time.
Yeah.
No matter what, every defensive coordinator's game plan, if they have the Rams on schedule, it's going to be, I am going to stop Cooper Kupp from beating us. If you beat me with Allen Robinson II and Van Jefferson, so be it. But I'm not going to let you beat me with Cooper Kupp.
So that'll be the challenge for Matthew Stafford as well, because he has to refine his game. Mm-hmm. He's had his year, right? Led the team to the Super Bowl. He won his first Super Bowl. So now he is tasked with still leading that team and at the same time refining his game.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go ahead, move on to the schedule.
Absolutely.
Right? Regular season schedule, week 1, already just a formidable team.
NFL did
the
this on
AFC
purpose.
favorites.
NFL did this on purpose. It's the projected Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, the NFC prospect against the AFC prospect in the Buffalo Bills, week 1. At SoFi, though. So this will be a tough one. I do see the... Man, yeah, this one's hard.
It is hard. Might be the hardest game to pick this year.
For sure.
But
whoever wins, it's going to be pretty much by field goal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very close, and
field goal or extra point.
Field goal or extra point, but I'll give the respect to the Rams. I see them holding their home court, their home field.
Yeah.
Against Buffalo, but barely. It's not even going to be. It's going to be tight. I can see it being close to like a 31-28 kind of game, something like that. Yeah. Something where the team that makes the least amount of mistakes wins.
And I will say this, because Buffalo was so effective last year, and the fact that they were so consistent last year, and they have all the potential in the world going into this next year, I think I'm going to go for Buffalo on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I see Buffalo pulling this one out, and I see the least amount of mistakes, for sure. Yeah. Now, and it's tough.
It's a toss-up.
It's really a toss-up for this first matchup of the season for the Rams. Week 2, Atlanta. See them winning.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, all right. Week 3, Arizona.
Yep.
They're winning that one. All right.
They beat 3-0. Yeah.
Yep. Week 4 is against the Niners.
Because it's at San Francisco, that's going to be their first loss of the season.
Yeah.
It's a divisional round at San Francisco. San Francisco's gonna win.
Yeah, I see San Francisco winning that one as well. Week 5 is Dallas.
4-1.
Yep. Week 6, Carolina.
5-1.
5-1. Yep. Week 7, yeah. So going into the bye week, 5-1. All right. Week 8 is once again against the Niners at SoFi. I see the Rams pulling this one out.
Yep. 6-1.
Especially after that rest time. Yeah, it's going to be good for them. Week 9, their first matchup against Tampa Bay, at Tampa Bay.
You and I both have the same instinct on this game. We're going to see Tampa winning it because they're at home.
We're going to see Tampa or Tampa Bay pulling the win on this one.
But a close game as well.
Exactly.
6-2.
These are going to be the two teams, as we've gone over before. Yeah. These are going to be the two teams to watch.
Yep.
Bar none.
Yep.
Bar none, these will be the two teams to watch. Week 10 is against Arizona at SoFi.
At SoFi, that's a win.
That is a win. Yep. Week 11 at New Orleans.
I love New Orleans, but I don't trust Jameis Winston. 8-2.
Yeah. Yep. Week 12 at Kansas City.
That'll be close. That'll be interesting. Mm-hmm. Because it's at home, I'll give it to Kansas City. I can see them losing this game.
Yeah, but at the same time, that Kansas City defense is still just struggling, and they haven't made a whole lot of moves, with the exception of that pass rusher that they picked up.
I can't remember.
In the draft.
Yeah.
In the draft. You know who I'm talking
Yeah, I
about,
know
right?
who-
That good zone coverage kid. That's going to be pretty solid for that team.
Oh, no, the Washington kid. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
The Huskies kid.
Yeah.
So I forgot his name, but he's going to be a solid threat. But he can't carry the team on his back, especially being a first year, right? So I still see them beating Kansas City at home, only because Kansas City's offense is not as strong, but they still have Patrick Mahomes. So another tough game to predict.
Yep.
Yeah. Week 13 bye week against Seattle. All right. Week 14 Vegas at SoFi.
That's gonna be close.
Yeah.
Because people aren't giving Las Vegas the respect that they deserve.
They do. Yeah, they are now.
It's just
They are. Even with all that respect, we still anticipate them being like kind of fighting for last in that division.
we're fighting to maintain third place
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
another tough one. Just because it's at home, I see the Rams winning this.
Yep.
Yeah. Just because it's at home. Week 15, Green Bay at Lambeau. Yeah.
I don't even know the mess that Green Bay is right now, how they're going to be.
Yeah.
But
they're unpredictable at this point. I'm giving. I see Aaron Rodgers pulling out.
Me too. Just because it's at Green Bay and it's still regular season, it's not playoffs.
Yeah, it's also exactly.
Yeah.
But it's also week 15, so they've had plenty of time. I see Aaron Rodgers winning this one. Yeah. So week 16 is Denver at SoFi. Another tough one.
Another tough game. Yeah.
And this is Christmas Day.
It is Christmas Day.
Yeah,
and
Christmas
it's
Day.
at home.
At home.
My gut's telling me Denver for some reason.
My gut's telling me LA.
Yeah.
My gut's telling me LA. Like Russell Wilson, he'll be strong, but it's still his first year. So
Moving on.
Yeah. We're kind of split on that one.
Yeah.
Week 17 is at the Chargers.
I'm taking the Chargers.
Yep, so am I. Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers also. Week 18, Seattle at Lumen. Yep. All right, so the Rams look strong, but they got a tough schedule this next year, man.
It's done on purpose as well by
Exactly.
the NFL, so that way it's not an easy cakewalk to the postseason.
Right.
So it's gonna be tough, but you know what? They're gonna, for sure, division winners. Like, I'm not delusional by any chance as far as
by any stretch.
By any stretch as far as what's gonna happen. Like, they're gonna win the NFC West for sure. I don't see them being the top seed. I don't. I can see them being the third seed, maybe the second. I'm not saying it's going to be Tampa. I don't know who. You know how it is. It's just a team that's hot.
It's just weird, man.
It's weird to predict, but I don't see them being the top seed, but they're going to be the NFC West champs. They're going to be a top 3 seed for sure.
For sure. Yeah, that's definitely going to be it. They are part of the NFC Elite, as we've pretty much predicted at this point. And I do agree with you. At the very best second. The very best second. Yeah. I'm not, like you said, I'm not going to say that Tampa Bay is going to be number 1. It's all going to come down to the hot hand. You know what I mean?
It could easily be Green Bay again.
Exactly.
Being the number 1 seed and then
just nosediving.
Nosediving in the playoffs.
Yeah. So with all that being said, seed placement, yes, seed placements get you better spots in the playoff.
Yeah.
In the playoff game. That's all it determines. It does not determine the winner of the Super Bowl, and it does not even determine the fact, it doesn't even guarantee a trip to the Super Bowl.
No.
Never. Never does.
That's the Green Bay Packers, how that's worked out.
Exactly. Yeah. The past 2-3 years, right?
No, but I can see them, being a top 3 seed. It's going to be very, very close, specifically against Tampa for them, is like to see how they're going to do. But
with that fire from Tom Brady.
It's gonna be fun to watch. So we finally like some of the drama in the NFC that we got, because AFC is where the drama lives so far. As far as what's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
man, it's gonna be a movie over there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a movie, and you got a QB rivalry. Maybe that'll happen there
for sure
in that division. But LA Rams, I see them making the NFC Championship for sure.
Yeah,
I'm not delusional as far as when I say like, it's hard for teams to repeat, so this team's not going to repeat. No,
that's not a guarantee. It's just going to be difficult.
Yeah,
that's all we're saying.
Difficult, but I see this team making the NFC Championship.
As do I.
I can see them doing that.
For sure.
It's going to be very, very hard. close games.
Yeah.
Close games, and they're going to have to adjust because teams are going to have to adjust to what specifically they're doing.
And this schedule is difficult by design.
Yep.
By design, it's hard because they're, number one, the reigning Super Bowl champions, and number two, they're still just such a strong team all around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the NFL recognizes this, and that's why they gave us these very difficult games to predict.
It's going to be fun to watch, though.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very excited for just talking about this team. Talking about great teams just gets me very excited because it's still so unpredictable, right? Because, yeah, they look fantastic on paper, but I'm not saying that they're going to completely crap the bed. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just, like we said, it's going to be very difficult.
Yep.
But if they rise to the challenge and they continue to go through and they somehow repeat, that's a dynasty. Yeah.
That is a dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm excited about this. A couple episodes ago, I'm excited about this next season as far as the storylines that this develops.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting storyline if they repeat, and it's going to be fantastic. Get back to back. Hall of Famer Sean McVay, like no question about it, one of the great coaches, everything, you know?
Yeah.
All of the things that come along with the winners. So we'll see, but we have our winner with the NFC West with the Los Angeles Rams.
So it goes from top to bottom. The Rams,
San Francisco.
the Niners, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks.
By default.
By default, exactly. So this might be like the clearest cut division that we've talked about so far.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so because some of these other teams, they're like battling for last place, or excuse me, battling for third place.
Yeah.
Right? So now this is a pretty clear-cut division.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, next week is going to be the NFC East, or as we like to call it, the NFC Least.
Yep.
Right? And
But we might have a new contender to challenge the Cowboys for next year.
That's right.
That's right. And we'll get into that in that next episode, ladies.
Yeah, that'll be that will most definitely be next week. Thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast. If you have gotten this far, do not forget, if you enjoy it, go ahead and like this episode, like all the other ones. Subscribe to the channel and follow us at our Instagram at RJTalks_11. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks.